Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to make an action creator to dispatch the action fetch fruits requested. So let's get started. Let's create a new file here called actions.js under the src directory. So let's create an action creator to simply dispatch that action that we did here in the component did mount. So we don't want to do this props dispatch here. Instead, we just want to call like so. We're going to do this.props.fetch fruits. We just want to call this function here that's going to be an action creator, a bound action creator, by the way. So let's go to actions.js. I'm going to cut this here from here and then place it into actions. Now we're going to make a function here. Let's call this function fetch fruits. Now this function is going to be simply a function that returns an action. An action is just a plain object with a type property and option the other stuff like a payload. So just as we're going to cut this guy here, just going to return it. Okay, we don't have to do dispatch in this case because what we're going to do is we get this guy, don't forget to export by the way, and I'm just going to leave the actions like a string like so. Typically if you work in production, in the real world, it would put this guy into a constant, all that kind of stuff, but just to keep things simple, I'm just going to leave it as a string. So the dispatch is going to be automatically called with this action here that's returned from this action creator if we go here in the app, go down there, and we add to the connect a second argument called the map dispatch to props. Now this map dispatch to props that you define right here, map dispatch to props, we're going to simply return going to be simply an object, okay? And it's just an object, not a function in this case. So we can have bound action creators that automatically when you call them, dispatch is going to be called with their return action. So we're going to first do the following. We take this guy, we import it from app.js. Up there, you do an import. Don't forget the braces. Fetch fruits from actions.actions. Now we take this guy and we have to somehow inject it in app. We have to do that indirectly using map dispatch to props. So we put fetch fruits here. This prop inside the app is going to be referring to fetch fruits that was imported. Okay, this imported function is going to be called fetch fruits inside the app as a prop. Now, since the property name and the property value is the same, using ES6 shorthand, you can do just like so. Now this guy is going to appear as a prop inside app, and then we can call it like so. But when we call it, right, it's going to do what? Well, this function simply returns an object, but we have to dispatch this action. So it's going to be, dispatch is going to be automatically called for us because we're using the map dispatch to props in this manner. Okay, so it's called a bound action creator if you want to know more about it in the Redux documentation. Anyway, with that, we can verify that the action is being called doing the following. Let's save this file. Then we're going to go to the reducer file, reducer.js. And what we're gonna do here is the following. Here inside the definition for the reducer, we're going to make a console log. And then we're going to console log the action. Let me just say something here. An action was dispatched. Just this message so we know, okay, so we got an action in this root reducer, right? If you want to get access to the state here, you can also do so, console log. Let me do another one just so you're curious. Current app state is state. Let me put it here. Great. Now, before we move on, I also would like to remove these fruits from the initial state. Actually, I'll leave that for later. Okay, so let's hold off on that for a little bit. Leave it there. We just want to know if the action is being called. So let's save everything. Now let's go back to our browser where the app is running. Let's open the console. What's going on? Web console, sorry. So I'm gonna clear and restart, refresh. So you can see there's some console logs here. An action was dispatched and then the action. Now Redux dispatches some action in the initialization, it seems, but we don't really care about that. Current app state is this. We should see the initial state has 3 objects. That's correct for now. And then if you look at it, it's going to be the this web props of the app. You can see that fetch fruits now appears as a prop for the app component, and it says a function bound action creator. You see it's a bound action creator. Okay, and then we have an action was dispatched because in the component did mount, remember, of object of type fetch fruits requested. So we got it. So it's working fine. The action is being dispatched with the type fetch fruits requested. That's great. So we're good for now. All right, so let's get back to our code. So let's get started hooking up the initial state and then work out all the other stuff. So let's continue here. Let's first remove out these hard-coded fruits from the initial state of the reducer because we don't have any fruits. You can either put in an empty list or you can put null to signify you haven't made any requests yet, so there's no fruits. It's up to you to choose which one. If you choose to use an empty list, there won't be any problem in the app.js, if you can see here. But if you choose null, it's gonna have some issues, right? Because props.fruits is null and you're trying to map over a null value, and that's not possible. I kind of like that because I can see that I haven't made the request, so I can indicate it's still in the loading state here. Let me put, you can do it for fruit list or from app. I'm going to do it from app. Up to you. So let me put something here. So I'm gonna, in the app.component, I'm gonna put an if statement right here saying if props this.props.fruits, you can say like so, if it's not defined, if it's undefined or null or falsy value, right, we're gonna return a div with a loading message, loading list. Let me say loading fruit list, 3 dots. Let's see what we get. So it's always going to be like that forever, even though we didn't make any requests, right? So you can figure out your own way of dealing with loading messages and with errors. Anyway, so that's that. So I leave it as null in the reducer, and I put a check here and just return the loading message in case fruit's not defined auto, because we cannot map over a no value. So what's left to do is we already dispatched the action fetch fruits using the action creator. it's gonna dispatch the action fetch fruits requested. Remember that we have to make the request. We're gonna go call find all, and then on success you have to dispatch yet another action. Succeeded, so we can update the application state, right? If there's an error, you have to send an action. Dispatch the action fetch fruits failed with an error message. So let's do that in the next lesson. How about that? See you then.